Hey guys, today is day number 30. I turned 30 years old this year, and it feels like I've spent a majority of that time stuck at my house under house arrest. It's getting like we've been in this thing for a long time, and I hope that these videos are helping you guys out. But before we even get started, I want to challenge you guys to text somebody today. Reach out, check on somebody from church. Check on them and see how they're doing. I've gotten a few texts from people, and it just really makes my day when I hear from people, and I'm sure that that's the same for other people. So I want to challenge you to reach out, text somebody, and check on them. Today we're going to finish out chapter 2 of Ephesians. We're doing our house arrest series because we feel like we're under house arrest, and Paul was writing these books that we're studying from house arrest. So we're going to look at chapter 2 and finish out the chapter there, starting in verse 17. So let's go ahead and read that.
And he came and preached peace to you who were far off, and peace to those who were near. For through him we both have access in one Spirit to the Father. So then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Christ Jesus himself being the cornerstone, in whom the whole structure being joined together grows into a holy temple in the Lord. In him you also are being built together into a dwelling place for God by the Spirit.
It's hard to pick your favorite Bible verse, but this little passage here in Ephesians chapter 2 is one of my more favorites, starting with what we talked about yesterday, where it talks about how Jesus is tearing down this dividing wall between Jews and Greeks, and going on into this one, where he's telling more in a positive note what he's actually doing here. And he says, you are no longer strangers or aliens, but you're fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God. If you've ever seen someone become a citizen, it's a huge moment. Like if you've seen videos of someone at the courthouse or wherever it is that they do this, and they finally get their citizenships and they become American citizens, it's a huge deal. It's a big moment where you finally feel like you belong. And here, Paul is talking to Ephesians who are not Hebrews. They are separate, and they have not throughout history been a part of God's people. And so what he's saying here is that when Jesus tears down these walls, he's actually building something. He's building one nation where we're fellow citizens. All of us who are not of Jewish descent are included in this citizenship of this kingdom that he's making. And he says, you're no longer strangers and aliens, and we are saints and members of the household of God, built on the foundation of the prophets and of the apostles. So the foundation is built on the prophets from the Old Testament who brought a message from God, and the apostles who now bring the message of Christ to the people. And so it's built on this foundation, and Christ himself is the cornerstone. He's what everything else is built off of. Everything from the Old Testament to the New Testament is based around Christ, in whom the whole structure being joined together. So this is Old Testament and New Testament are joined together with this cornerstone that is Jesus, into a holy temple in the Lord. In him, you also are being built together into a dwelling place for God by the Spirit. See, the temple in the Old Testament and under Jewish law, that was where God resided. That was where he lived. That was where heaven and earth came together. And so when he's talking about building this new temple between all the Old Testament and the New Testament, and Christ is the chief cornerstone, the foundation is the prophets and the apostles, and we are part of this building, this new temple. What he's saying is we are where God lives now. We are where heaven and earth come together. And so as we are stuck at home and as we're dealing with this stuff being at home, we've got to continue to be that temple. We've got to continue to be the church, the place where heaven and earth meet and show the world our King. Can't wait to see you guys again. Talk to you later.